Austen, how are you on everything? It seems like you're on every single platform and you're always posting, you're always sharing new content, and I'm about to spill a huge secret here for you. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new around here. My name is Austen and I am a beauty and style content creator based in New York City, and this channel is all about beauty product reviews and tips for beauty content creators. So if that sounds like you, be sure to subscribe and stick around for new videos every Sunday. And I'm so excited for today's video because I get asked a lot, like, Austen, how are you on everything? It seems like you're on every single platform and you're always posting, you're always sharing new content, and I'm about to spill a huge secret here for you, which is that most of the time when you see me sharing something on social media, it's actually something that I've already created, and we'll talk a little bit more about this with the 80-20 rule later on, but today I'm going to be sharing all about how I batch content for social media. So in this video, I'm going to go over why content marketing is just as important as content creation. I'm going to talk to you about later the tool that I use to schedule and post to social media profiles, and I'm also going to do an actual screen recorded walkthrough of my batching process so you can see what this actually looks like. So we're eliminating all the mystery here. Everyone should be able to do this. I hope that you have a pen and paper handy or your laptop to take notes, because by the time we're done with this video, you should feel confident to schedule a month's worth of content for social media in just an hour. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you are excited about the idea of batching content. And don't forget, I also have my weekly career newsletter that is for small business owners, freelancers, content creators, and entrepreneurs, where I share weekly tips and advice and stories from successful freelancers for inspiration. You can sign up for free at austentosone.com/subscribe, and that's just another place to connect with me and get some free business tips in your inbox. So for today, I'm going to show you how to schedule a month's worth of content for Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. And the only reason I'm not doing Instagram today, to be totally transparent, is because I'm still figuring out what I want my Instagram posting schedule to look like. Obviously, the beginning of 2020 has kind of thrown a wrench in many plans that were previously set, and so I'm working on reviving and refreshing that part of my content creation process now. So let's go back to a second for something I mentioned at the beginning of this video, which is that people constantly ask me how I'm on every single platform. And I actually do have a blog post about tools that help me streamline my content creation process so that I can be really active on multiple platforms. So that'll be linked down below if you want to check it out. But I would say for me, the big thing is really focusing on content marketing as much as content creation. And I first heard this, I think, on Julie Solomon's podcast, the Influencer Podcast, but I'm not sure the exact origins of it. But there is this idea of the 80-20 rule, where you should be spending 20% of your time creating content and 80% of that time marketing content. There is also the rule of advertising called the rule of sevens, where people say it actually takes someone 7 times to see something before they take action on it. So if you created a freebie for an email newsletter, or you released a digital product and it's crickets when you actually launch that thing, it might just be because your audience hasn't been warmed up to that idea yet. So I don't know about you guys, but as a content creator, I have gone through a couple of different moments of feeling this overwhelming burnout. Like, I can't possibly come out with a new blog post every week that's really creative and refreshing. I can't possibly send a weekly newsletter and have something to actually say each week in my newsletter. And what the heck am I gonna post on Instagram? Because I remember back between like 2016, 2017, I was posting to Instagram every single day. And you know what? Creating all of that content and keeping up like that was exhausting. That's why it's so important to focus on content marketing much more than the content creation itself, because once you have that piece of content, you might need to show it a bunch of times before your audience ever clicks through to read the blog post or watch the YouTube video or listen to the podcast episode. I would say for my blog, Keep Calm and Chiffon, my 2 main sources of traffic come from either SEO or someone searching something on Google and then finding my page, or from social media, particularly Pinterest. Pinterest has been a big traffic driver to my blog for me. I won't be talking about SEO in today's video, but if you do want my free SEO tip sheet, there's a link to it down below in the description box, so you can feel free to grab that and check it out. I have been a blogger and content creator for 8 years now, and there's just no way that every single one of my followers or blog readers or YouTube subscribers has seen all of my content. That's why it's important to create evergreen content that can be viewed over and over again and still feel timely for your audience, and to make sure that they know about it by marketing it. So here's the part where you're really going to want to pay attention and take notes. I'm going to now share my 3 things that you have to do to get set up to schedule a month's worth of content. So first things first, you're going to look back on your old content and decide what you want to reshare with your audience. And remember, it's okay if some people have seen this content before, but for a lot of people, this is going to be the first time that they are seeing a blog post or YouTube video that you're promoting. I would say one big thing to look for is seasonal content. So if you have summer skincare tips, or if you have a summer styling video with outfit ideas, whatever your content is, I think you get the idea. You can go back and look at old seasonal content and reshare that with your audience. And just make sure that if you are sharing a blog post to, say, your summer beauty staples, that you go in and check to make sure that any affiliate links you included are not broken and that they're up to date. So if someone clicks through, that you actually do get that commission, and make sure that those products are still available. And the amount of posts that you find is totally up to you. I usually like to share things on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Facebook and Twitter, and I do try to share things every day on Pinterest, but if I can't find stuff for every single day, I find every other day works fine as well. Once you determine which content pieces you want to share, the second thing you're going to want to do is gather your assets together. So pull one main photo from your blog post that you can share to Twitter and Facebook, and write a quick little caption or description about what the post is so that people know how to click through it. And I would say this is pretty straightforward for Facebook and Twitter. For Pinterest, as you may know, you're going to want to make sure you title the pin with a searchable keyword term, that you add a pin description, and of course that you have a link in all of these cases actually to link back to that content so people know where to find it. If you want some more tips about how to use Pinterest to drive traffic to your blog, I have a whole video about that I will link up here for you to check out after you watch this one. And then step number 3 is to open up your scheduler, whatever tool that you use to do this, and get scheduling. And I want to introduce you to mine, which is Later. This is not sponsored, but Later, if you're watching, let's do something together, seriously. So Later is an amazing tool for scheduling and batching social media content. And with Later, you can actually schedule content to post to Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm not really currently using Later to schedule my Instagram content, as I mentioned earlier in this video, but I definitely have plans to change that and switch over to have things publish automatically through Later. But for now, it helping out with Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest does make a huge difference for me, and definitely helps my traffic to my blog from my social media channels. So there is a free version of Later. For $0 a month, you can sign up with one social profile and get 30 posts per platform each month. I have the lowest tiered paid plan from Later, which is the Plus plan. It says for power users and solopreneurs. Hello, it me. And that is $9 a month, and you get one profile per social media platform and 100 posts per platform to schedule each month. So that just gives me a lot of leeway, especially if you're thinking about sharing content to Pinterest. I think you kind of have to create multiple pins for different blog posts and things like that, and make sure that you're really showing up on there. So if you are just doing one pin a day for 30 days, you can definitely get away with the free plan. But if you find yourself sharing more than that, you would definitely want to look into one of the paid options. They do have other options that I won't get into now, but I will leave a link to Later's website down below if you want to check it out for kind of small business owners, and then bigger plans for brands and agencies that allow you to have more than one social platform. So if you manage a personal Instagram account and your brand account, you might want to look into that. But since I only have one Instagram account, that's the one that I signed up for. And now let me hop over to the screen recording and show you exactly how I schedule content with Later. All right, you guys, so now I'm going to show you exactly what my process looks like to batch content in Later. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be batching all content that I've already created that I just want to make sure my audience has seen, because as we talked about earlier, it can take a couple of times for your audience to see something before they react to it or click on it, and there's no way that all of your blog readers or YouTube subscribers have read all of your posts and seen all of your videos. So the first thing that I said to do was to go in to your previous blog posts, videos, etc., and find content that you wanted to share. So I have all of these tabs open for my blog posts that we'll be doing first up here. And what I did was I dragged the lead image from each blog post into a folder over here. And I also went in and found a couple of pins that I already have made and shared to Pinterest that I'm going to share again. So I'm going to update them with new descriptions and new links and share them to Pinterest as well. So now that I have all of my assets, what I'm going to do is select them and drag them over here to later. And while I let them load, I'm just going to show you quickly what the back end of later kind of looks like. So up here, you can see all of my linked social media accounts, and the one that you're clicked on is the one that you are adding to first. Now, I'm going to be batching content for pretty much a whole month of Pinterest, and I'm just going to show you every other day as an example. And then I'm also going to show you batching content for Facebook and Twitter. Facebook and Twitter kind of have the same process for me. Pinterest is a little bit different because, as I mentioned, I need to be more specific about my pin descriptions and keywords, etc. So another thing that would be helpful to have in addition to this folder with all of your content assets here is also a document with a bunch of captions already written out on it, so you can kind of just drag and paste things into later. Since I did not do that, we will kind of be making it up as we go. And I'll start off by showing you what I'm going to be sharing to Facebook for the month of July. So since I'm kind of starting at the beginning of the month, I'm going to trickle into the end of June over here. So I'm going to go in and drag one of my photos from my blog posts. And so this is my blog post about how to pitch and get published according to a magazine editor, me. So for the caption, I am going to say, want to learn how to pitch to get your writing published in just like that, and I'm going to link my blog post. Hashtag suggestions I don't have access to on this version of later, but if you upgrade, you can have access to it. And as you can see here, I just dragged it into Monday morning at 10 a.m., but you can adjust the time and date that you want it to go live here. So now I'm just going to save that post, wait for it to load, and then once it loads, it will come up as the colored image, just like you see over here in my later account. And so I'm actually going to share the same piece of content to Twitter at the same time, and I'm going to change up the caption a little bit on Twitter and say, freelance writers, read this about how to get your pitches approved. Because I have a lot of freelance writers who follow me on Twitter, I'm kind of constantly retweeting pitch callouts and things like that, so I might want to change the language a little bit for my audience, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook. And there you go. So now I have my first post scheduled for both Facebook and for Twitter. So it really is as easy as just dragging everything over. So I am going to continue to do that and then show you more of what my calendar looks like when I'm done. So now I've gone ahead and scheduled my 3 posts a week for the first 2 weeks of the month, as you can see in my monthly view, for both Twitter and Facebook. This probably took me like 7 minutes to do both of these, and as you can see, I kind of try to play around with different times on different days, maybe a little bit earlier on Friday before everyone gets out early if they have summer Fridays, maybe a little bit later on Wednesday when people might find themselves, scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and not exactly focused on their work. And now I'm going to move over to Pinterest. So I'm going to do every other day for Pinterest, starting next week with Tuesday and Thursday. And I'm going to show you that I have these 4 links up here opened already that correspond with pins that I've already created and dragged over. So first I will drag over this pin for Tuesday, and you'll see it wants me to select a board. This is a pin and YouTube video about beauty storage and organization, so I'm going to put it on my beauty board. And if I go over to Pinterest, I really suggest having Pinterest open while you're doing this because you can type in the keyword that you're thinking of and get tons of ideas for keywords that you could be including in your pin description on later. So I'm actually going to leave that open just like that so I can see everything. Hop on over here to later to where it says, oh, did it go away? Beauty organization, storage, small spaces. Okay, so I can kind of start to type in beauty organization, storage, beauty organization, small spaces. What were some of the other ones? Ideas, DIY, bedroom, etc. So you can use those in your Pinterest description, and I always try to go back and add a full sentence to the beginning of the pin description so Pinterest doesn't get mad at me for just loading up the pin description with keywords. And then you'll see down here you have the option to add a URL for your website or your YouTube video. So I'm going to go grab that URL from YouTube and add it in as my website link. And again, here you can kind of double check the time and everything. Hit save and add a pin description. So again, looking at this, I would say beauty organization for small spaces might be a good pin title. And I'll fill this in a second, but just to hit save and have you see what it looks like on my calendar, this is where it gets saved. And I'm going to now go in and fill these in for the rest of the month because I have 8 pre-made pins over here that I can link back to YouTube videos and blog posts to share to later. Now, as you can see, here is just my Pinterest page as an overview. You can see that now for every Tuesday and Thursday for this month, well, mostly because I didn't realize that it was really a long month this month, but I got 8 pieces of content slated, and this took me maybe like 20 minutes to do with the keyword research. I would say that actually putting all of this into later and adding the captions and stuff probably takes about 30 minutes, and deciding what to share and finding all of these content assets that I had already created also took about 30 minutes. So that is how I schedule content in later. I really hope you guys found that helpful. Thank you so much for watching. And as I mentioned earlier, 2 of the big ways that I get traffic to my blog are through SEO or Google search, and also through socials. And since we kind of covered socials today, I wanted to actually bring up a third way that I do get traffic to my blog, which is through my email newsletter. So you're going to want to stay tuned for next week's video, where I'm going to talk all about how to start an email newsletter list. I know it's on your to-do list. I know you probably haven't done it yet. I waited so long to start my email list, and I wish I hadn't. And next week's video will give you the tools that you need to get started with email marketing, even if you have 0 experience, I promise. So be sure to subscribe and stick around so you don't miss that video next week. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and leave me a comment to let me know if you are actually going through with this and you are going to use later or another scheduling tool to batch a month's worth of content to your social profiles. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye!